Hey friends, it's Awkwardly Random with Cinthya and Michelle, where we talk about random topics.
Anything and everything awkward is on the table, so let's dive right in.
Hey y'all.
Hi. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Michelle, hi. Welcome back to another episode.
That's me sounding excited, okay?
Yeah, y'all. That's a very excited hi, okay? That's the most excited you're going to get from Michelle.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it. Welcome back to another episode of Awkwardly Random.
With Cinthya and Michelle.
That's right. We're back. Another week, another episode.
Yep.
This week's
Glad to have you back.
topic. Glad to have y'all back. Not too much to update in terms of life. Everything's the same for me, at least.
Same.
Yeah. But today's topic,
we sound so boring.
I know, right?
Nothing to update,
But we're gonna have a good conversation. That won't be boring.
Yeah,
we'll make up for it in this combo.
Yeah.
As most of you have probably already either seen this or have heard of it because it's all over the internet. Everybody's talking about it. We thought we might as well talk about it too.
Yeah. What the hell is Squid Game? And why you should watch it if you haven't watched it yet. But also we're going to talk about spoilers. So
yeah.
We're gonna say spoiler alert and then you'd have to click out. But I'm sure most of you have already seen this show. We're gonna talk about it. Go over some theories. Not that I made up any of these theories, but theories that I found.
Yep.
Either like on TikTok or social media or like on YouTube. So we're going to talk about those.
And there's so many more theories out there. We're just going to cover a few, but there's a lot more out there.
Yeah. Comment below if we missed a theory.
Or if there's any that you think of yourself or that you believe, or let us know your thoughts. But yeah, this is going to be a very spoiler heavy conversation. So if you haven't seen it and you're okay with spoilers, cool, keep going with this episode. If not, go watch Squid Game. We recommend it, and then come back and watch this episode.
Yes. Better said than I did.
No, it's all good.
Okay.
So before we start, obviously we can't start without our awkwardly random question. We got to have our awkwardly random question.
Okay, I'm ready.
So the question for today is, if you were to be cast? I don't know how to say it. Cast in a
casted
superhero movie, Marvel movie, DC, whatever.
Words are hard.
Exactly. Would you rather play the superhero or the villain
in the movie? Is it going to be like a hit movie or like a shitty movie?
I think it depends on your performance.
Really? I think it depends on the story
and the performance.
I guess
you could have a nice story and have the actors be really shitty.
Okay, so let's just pretend we're gonna have amazing performances, both of us.
Let's say we're like award-winning actresses.
Okay.
Okay. Which one would you play?
This is hard. I feel like we were kind of slightly talking about this before we started recording, but I think I would want to be both. I would want to have a nice like arc to my development. I don't know. I just think that creates more depth and like layer to a character, not just being like the typical good person or the typical bad person, because I don't think that really exists. You know what I mean? In real life.
So what about the Joker? The Joker, the one that Joaquin Phoenix played. He has a whole story, but he's portrayed as a villain. But you want to be something kind of like that, where there's so many layers to him, and there's reasons why.
In a movie, as an actress, yes.
Yeah, not in real life, Mish. I'm not
Isn't
saying
he an Oscar winner? Isn't he an Oscar winner? Hell yeah, I want to be an Oscar winner. Yeah, I'll do that.
But I mean, like, you would want to play that type of role.
Yeah, I feel like it's just deeper. There's more layers and more depth to it. So that would be the only reason why. And as an artist, it would challenge me. I'm just kidding.
How are you gonna train? Is it method acting? You're gonna be like really into the character. You're committed.
No, I would not. I don't even know. I cannot even I would never be able to do that ever in my life. So, but if I could, I would pick that type of role.
Yeah,
if I could choose.
Hypothetical.
What about you?
I would play the villain. I want to be the bad guy.
Okay. Why?
But well, I think there's a lot of villains that I think there's not enough backstory. Like, I feel like there's so much more to villains, quote unquote villains, people that are portrayed as villains in the movies that we don't really get to see or learn about. And so I guess I'm similar to you. Wow, how fun and exciting. But
I know
I would want not to justify the villains' behaviors or what they do or whatever, but there's always a reason behind a behavior. There's always people aren't born bad. There's some, we're products of our environment, and there's reasons why we make the choices that we make in life. And I feel like it's just really interesting to learn about the whys behind what villains do. And also, I think it'd just be fun because I'm like, I know, the opposite of a villain. Like, I think I'm too nice. I think I'm too nice sometimes.
I think so too.
Honestly,
if you know Beans, you know that.
I don't think I'm not like trying to brag or anything, but I
don't
think
that's a flaw.
I'm too nice.
I think people can take advantage of it.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that a little bit in Squid Games, because if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll both be villains. Cool.
We'll both be villains. We'll be tag team villains.
Or something. That would make cool. For a cool story, kind of like Suicide Squad.
For real. Oh yeah. See, they're more of like anti-heroes, but also like obviously villains because they've done terrible bad things, like killed people and like all this other stuff.
Yep.
So in terms of movie wise, story wise, yeah, I would agree. I think there's more depth and layers to those types of characters. Cool. That was our awkwardly random question.
Okay. Now we're gonna go deep into Squid Game.
So what the hell is Squid Game?
Okay, so
spoilers ahead.
Just really brief backstory or like brief info about it. It's a very popular. Actually, it's the most popular show on Netflix as of right now, and I think in Netflix's history, it's the most popular show. When I first saw it, I had zero knowledge about it. I hadn't seen the trailer. I didn't know it was a Korean thriller drama thing. I didn't know anything except for the title, basically. Yeah. But I remember you had told me about it, Michelle. I think you asked me if I'd seen it, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I was like, you should watch it.
Yeah.
Now.
And, I know you were the first one to tell me that, and then I had another friend also tell me about it, or tell me to watch it, but all I heard, all she said was that it was so fucked evil. Up.
No. Yeah, it's messed up.
That's all I got. I'm like, okay. But I didn't see the trailer or anything, so I did not know anything about it.
It's so entertaining.
Yes.
It's one of the first shows where I kind of didn't get tired of watching it. Like, I could binge watch it if I wanted to, but I had to sleep, type of thing.
How long did it take you to finish it?
Probably like 4 days.
And there's 9 episodes. You kind of binge watched it a little bit.
Yeah. Wait, I don't know if it was 4 days. Maybe it was a whole week. If I'm
that's
how
long it took me.
Yeah, I think it was about a week.
We did like 1 episode a day.
Oh, okay. I think we did like 2 to 3, or like maybe half episodes sometimes.
Yeah,
because I was just tired. But
yeah. But
I would say about a week.
It hooks you. At least it hooked me.
Same.
But let's give a brief rundown of what that show is about. You want to do it, or you want me to do it?
You do it.
Okay. I'll do my best.
You can do it.
Okay, so
I believe in you.
I'm gonna try, y'all. So Squid Game is a South Korean survival drama or thriller. How would you what genre would you place it in?
Thriller.
A thriller?
It's a thriller. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say thriller. It's a thriller.
Yeah, thriller.
It definitely was very thrilling to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. That was okay, ignore that. Okay, so it basically, very thrilling. It follows people from all different walks of life who have one very big detail, very important detail in common, which is that they all have crippling amounts of debt. So there's 456 people that become contestants in this really fucked up series of games, and they're all classic childhood games, some of which are more universal in terms of there's a lot of more people that know about it, and some are more specific to South Korea. So they all get this chance to win. How much was it? Like 45 billion won?
Yeah,
like 45 point something.
Yeah, it was a lot of money, and only one of them could win it.
Yeah, which I didn't know. Did they explain that in the series? I didn't know that only one could win. I just knew that if people lost, they got terminated, and then
no, yeah, you're right. I don't think it's only one could win. It's if you survive all 6 games.
Yeah, if you survive all 6 games, yeah.
But they made it as if for only one to survive, though.
Right. But I didn't know that. I didn't know only one could win. So you have to get through all 6 games, but if you lose, the cost of losing the game or losing in a game is your life.
You die. Yeah,
you basically die. So that's,
and we didn't learn this until the first game. Like, people just thought it was like, oh, you're gonna play a game and you just get out and you'll be fine.
Yeah, because they explained it as if you lose, you will be terminated. Or eliminated. Yeah. But they really mean executed.
I know.
Yeah. They said eliminated. I think they said eliminated.
I think eliminated. Yeah.
I watched it in
Player 3 has been eliminated,
but really executed.
Yeah. Terrible.
How did you watch it, Michelle? I saw it it was in Korean, but I saw it with English subtitles.
I saw it in English, which I heard it's bad because afterwards people were saying how bad the translation was.
Yes, but even with the subtitles.
Yeah, with the subtitle, the translation of the subtitles.
Yes.
After I watched it and I was like watching reviews and like all these things, people were saying that some of the translation was just like terrible.
Really off.
I mean, I definitely still enjoyed it, but yeah.
I enjoyed it too, but I think you and I definitely were at a disadvantage not understanding the language. But we can't do much about it. So but I just wanted to point that out because I kept hearing about that too, that there was a lot of things lost in translation. It didn't do it justice to what they were really saying. But ultimately, I did enjoy it. Okay, so these people are drowning in debt. They ultimately reach a point of desperation and they're willing to do almost anything to survive, to get money in their pocket. Some of the characters, you'll see that they are willing to do anything to win and to survive. So should we go through the games and see?
Yeah, let's run through the games. So
let's see what you think about this, Mish.
6 What's the first games. First game, red light, green light. There was this gigantic doll on the end of like this big field. And you had to, obviously, we all know, green, you walk. And then when it hits red, you stop. But then the gigantic ass doll will turn her giant head, and then if you even moved, I think, or not even, like sometimes it looked like if they were just breathing really loudly, like, and she like detects the movement, then she would shoot at you and you would die.
Her eyes had like movement sensors, so like as soon as you moved, boom, you'd be shot. So fun stuff that totally ruined red light, green light for me.
That was scary.
First saw it, I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
It was scary when that's when we learned that's you die. Like you die if you lose. And that was scary. And especially it's so many, like I think half of the people, like a little bit more than half or less than half, like died that first round of the game. So that was the first game. The second game was the Honeycomb Game, and that's where they would carve a shape, one of 4 shapes. You had to pick one. It was either like triangle or square, star,
or umbrella.
And that game was intense. Also, his cousin or nephew, what was it, that was an asshole and didn't tell him?
What?
I'm forgetting their names. Okay,
Jihan?
So
Jihan is the main guy.
The main guy.
What
was his like relative's name that was also in there with him?
Oh, I don't remember.
The one that was willing to do anything to win. Someone that was really smart. Yeah.
Oh, Sang-woo.
That was an asshole move that he didn't tell him.
Yeah.
And he knew what the game was, you know? I don't know. That's when you could tell like where his character was going.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that one. That was intense. Also, I thought it was really clever how was it Jihan? Jihan. He had like developed that like licking strategy to help him win, and then also super smart of, I forgot her name, the lady that had the lighter.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, but I don't know why the hell she decided to help the other guy. But I guess strategy, you want to stick with the stronger people in the game. So that was the second game. Third game, tug of war.
That's
and
pretty
I was
self-explanatory.
Like, yeah, I thought I especially for the main character for that one, I was like, how the hell are they gonna win? But it was so cool to see and hear the strategy from was the older man, Ilnam. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then the next game, it was the marbles game. It was you had to get all 10 marbles, or you had to get the most marbles to win?
No, so you each started with 10 marbles. So you were partnered up, right? You got to choose your partner, but obviously they didn't see this coming, and I didn't see this coming either, but the partner that you chose to play with was actually your opponent. So one of you was going to die, but most of them picked people that they liked, people that they formed relationships with. So that was brutal to watch. But essentially the marbles game is you each start with 10 marbles, and then you create your own game, your own rules, and then but the objective is to collect all 20 marbles for yourself. So you have to take the 10 marbles from your opponent, and then the loser dies.
Yeah.
That was hard one.
This was
watch.
episode 6, I think, right?
Yep.
I think this was the hardest for me too. I cried in this one.
Yes.
It was hard because we lost so many people that we liked. Yeah, it was terrible. I was really when I was watching it, spoiler alert, it's the old man who was running the game, right?
Right.
But I really liked the old man, or Ilhan, so much. I was so devastated, and the fact that he let the other guy win, or what was his name again? Jihan. I'm so sorry, y'all. He let him win. I was like, oh, I love that old man. Like when that happened, right? And I felt so bad for him. So yeah, that, and then also, what was her name? Both of them.
Yeah, the two girls.
Yeah, the two girls.
So Saebyuk, I think, was
Saebyuk,
the one that
went
on, but her partner in the game, when she dropped the marble, so the rule that they came up with was whoever gets the marble closest to the wall wins. And so Saebyuk goes first, and she throws it, and she gets pretty close, but then her partner just drops it, and as soon as she dropped it, I was like, no. I was hurt. I was hurt.
Yeah. Why?
Because I
just can't believe she did that.
Exactly. She was like, you have more to live for than I do. And then at the end, she goes, thank you for playing with me. And then you could see how much Saebyuk was hurting. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing these names correctly. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But you could just see that moment when they were saying bye to each other, and then Saebyuk walks off, and then she gets shot, and I'm like, I think that death really got me. But
yeah,
we'll get to the deaths later. But that's the marbles game.
Yeah.
That was that was the hardest episode for me to watch.
That was the hardest episode for me too. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna talk about that guy who cheated, or I guess didn't cheat because he made it a game. He got around.
Sang-woo.
What was his? Yeah. And then who was the other guy? The Ali. Oh my gosh, I was so upset.
But you know what? As hard as this game, I feel like. See, that's where being too nice and too gullible hurts you.
I think that was a big like. kind of like, regardless if you're nice or not, like being nice isn't always gonna let you win, or like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to look out for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think he was just too trusting in
Sangwoo.
It was so, I was so pissed at that specifically, because I just hated him after that. But yeah.
But let's,
because he would have won. He had all the marbles. He was good at it, and then he
was about to win.
I know. And then
so Ali was one marble away from winning. And Sangwoo freaked out, and he basically manipulated him and was like, I have a plan. I have an idea, that a plan for us to both come out of this alive. And Ali was all for it. And but what happened was he found a way to put some rocks in his bag instead of marbles. And Ali didn't check the bag until the very end, and Sangwoo walked off, and obviously, Ali died. And it just, oh man, that really made me think of like morality, you know? Like if your life's on the line, are you willing to kill or have someone you care for? Well, I don't even know if he cared for him.
I don't think he cared for him.
Like,
nope.
Like, let's say it was you and me, you know? Then
oh
what?
my God, don't even say it. Don't even say that.
But it got me thinking, because there was the husband and wife.
Yeah, I know.
Partnered.
That's why that was so,
you know,
that was so devastating,
and like,
too.
And I kind of knew. What do you do in that moment?
I don't know, but I kind of knew. I was like, what if? Because when they were choosing pairs, because I was watching it with Jesus and I were like, are they gonna like fight other people, or are they gonna fight against themselves? Because I watched the challenge. This is a side note. I watched the challenge on MTV, and you never know what the hell is gonna happen on that show, like who you're gonna go up against. So sometimes the person that you pick is the person that ends up being your opponent. So I kind of feel like, oh, they might do this, but I was like, oh no, this is gonna be terrible, because all these people might die, and they still did it. Oh my gosh, it was intense.
I did not see that coming whatsoever. It didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah,
it did not cross my mind. But it just made me think of like morality and your humanity, and do you lose it at that point? Because
in general, that show, from the beginning, it made me think about morality.
Yeah,
because people were dying. I mean, it's either you get the money or you die. And it's like, are you willing to put your humanity or morality on the line for money?
Right.
And most people did. On
which
the show,
we'll get into obviously. Also, but
we'll get into okay. That was next game. The fifth game was the glass stepping stone, kind of like a bridge that you had to get over in less than 16 minutes. But before that, the players picked a number 1 through 16, and the number that you chose ended up being the order in which you were crossing the stepping stones or the bridge. And if you didn't get across in those 16 minutes, you die. And then also, if you step on the glass, like there's two types of glass, one where it would shatter right away when you stepped on it. I don't know what it's called.
Tempered
and
glass?
Then the other tempered, and then was it the pixel glass? Or I don't know what it's called.
I don't like regular. I don't even know.
Yeah. Okay, so one was where it would break if you just stepped on it, because it wouldn't hold any type of weight, and the other one would withhold your weight. So you had to guess. Yeah, you had to guess which one it was. So yeah, that was intense.
Yeah, that one was also incredibly hard to watch. And also just because, so in the beginning,
I think all of them were hard for me to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, but it
was very
kept
gruesome.
getting harder and harder though. Like the red light, green light was like a shock, but then I was like, okay, now I get what's happening. But then as the games went on, I'm like, oh my God, these are really, really hard games. And it just was brutal. But yeah, so there were 2 rows of glass squares, glass tiles that you had to go across, and then Jihan, the main guy, was contemplating between being player 1 or player 16. Right, but in that time when they were picking the numbers, they didn't know that was going to be their order. They had no idea. They just said they were just instructed to pick a number. And so I just thought it was interesting that one of the players decided to pick number 1 because he was like, I never have control in my life. This is me finally taking control.
And he's like, shit.
And then he realizes what he got himself into because now he's the first one to go.
I know. Oh my, that's always terrible to go first with anything.
Yeah. So luck also played a role into this, and it was just interesting how things played out there. But that one was also really rough to watch because as soon as you step on the wrong tile, that thing shatters and you fall to your death. So they were really high up.
Yeah, and what people did was also push the other person to figure out if that was the right stepping stone. It was terrible.
Yeah, and also because
at that point people were just wanting to
because of time. They were running out of time. That's another added factor into this game, is people were like taking forever to jump because they were so scared to pick the wrong one, and so the person behind them like pushed them.
I wouldn't, because then they would have to figure it out, you know what I mean? I'd want to stay as back as I could as possible until it reaches my turn, because I can run out of time, but at the same time, like if I push someone, I have to make that decision and pick the correct one.
But
and what if I'm wrong forward? Then I die. I know, but they'll still had a lot more to go. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Just
you
push them for one, you'll decide one, but then you have to decide the next one. So terrible strategy.
But that's scary though too, because let's say you're the last person and everybody's taking forever, and you run out of time. Like you're screwed either way.
I would rush them. I don't know how I would rush them.
Exactly.
That's
how would
intense.
you rush them?
I don't know. Yell.
Everybody was yelling.
I know they wouldn't have listened. I don't know. Okay, I'm just trying to say that I would want to survive.
But that's the point. Is like they were just screwed. There was no way around it. You know.
Yeah, and then the glass. Okay, we explained it. The glass shattered after the time was up, and then somehow when the glass was like destroyed, it splattered or like hit some of the players, and that's how Sabiok, I don't know how to pronounce her name, she was like injured severely. I don't understand how it got the glass into her, like
her side. She was basically impaled by a really large
I have no idea how it happened, but it happened. Terrible. And then after that they had like this really grand meal, and they were given like knives. And shit was about to go down. And then should we say that part about the part where before the next game Sabiok was murdered by the guy we don't like. We knew he was gonna do some shady shit like that, so he killed her. And then it was Squid Game. It was really weird how that was the last game. I don't know how to explain that. Do you want to explain that game?
I kind of knew that it was going to be the last one because they started. So Squid Game is from what I know, a popular Korean children's game, similar to like Red Light, Green Light, all that kind of stuff. And I still don't fully understand the rules, but there's an offense and a defense. And you have to get to, I think, one end of how do you explain this? There's a shape that supposedly looks like a squid. To me, it doesn't really look like a squid. But you have to get from one end of that shape to the next or whatever, I think, as the offense. And the defense, you have to try to prevent that. But
and if you get to the circle, then you win the offense.
Yes. And if you push the player out of the squid figure shape on the floor,
if you're the ground, if you're on the defense side,
as the defender, then you win.
Yeah.
Right. So there were only 2 players left. It was Sangwoo and Jihan, and Jihan goes out with the money. We won't explain all the details, but that was the last game, and all these games were just fucked up, Mish. They were just all messed up, and they were really hard to watch.
I think the messed up part was the dying part and the execution part. I feel like if people wouldn't have died, it wouldn't have been like that intense.
Yeah, but the rules of the game was that if you lose, you die. So that to me was fucked up.
Yeah. And then even, I know we explained the games, but I think after the first game, people had voted to see if they were going to stay or continue to play the game or leave. And if the majority voted, one of the rules was if the majority voted to end the game, then they would end the game. And I thought that was pretty cool because I would have gone the hell out and would not have returned to that game.
But then people did return.
I know, because they were so desperate for the money because all of them had crippling debt. And in the show, you see, and people even say like it's worse to live a life like this, that they would rather die for the money than to continue living the life that they're living outside of the games.
I feel like that's one of the reasons why this show is so popular, because I think there are parallels to real life. There are a lot of people in debt right now, and
there's a lot of people who are just low income or poor because of a lot of things in life, like wage inequality, debt, like you said, like a lot of things that play into the role, or like play into these themes that we see, and how you're saying like parallels of real life or people's lives with this, but just at higher stakes, obviously.
Maybe I'll be a player because that student loan debt is crazy. I'm kidding, but that's just,
I have a lot of student debt, but I will never ever risk my life for money ever.
Right. No, and I wouldn't either, but there are people that would, because that's how bad the situation is. And like the systems that we're in is just rigged against people who are in poverty and people of color, and just like, I don't know. That's why I feel one of the reasons of why this show is so popular, because I think there's a lot of realistic qualities to it.
Yeah. And I definitely agree. And me saying, oh, I would never risk my life for money really comes from a privileged place, because I feel like a lot of people who have just hard jobs are risking their lives
for money
every day. It is like a survival, like life is a survival type game for certain people, because they don't have the luxury that certain other people do, depending on like how much money they make, so I think you're definitely right in terms of like, we're seeing this as a game where people are trying to survive, but like in life, like people are still trying to survive, you know what I mean? So it's not fair like for me to have said that, but just like,
no, but you're recognizing that it is like, I agreed with you. I don't think I would either, but again, you and I come from a place of privilege to be able to say that. Yes, I am in debt. Yes, I have student loans, but I'm not in a situation where I'm desperate and would do anything to the point where I would risk my life,
because we're not in those situations,
right? But my
that was just me acknowledging that.
And that's really important that you did, and I think, and I agree with you. I agree with you completely. What I was trying to say is that there's people that are in those situations,
and that's real.
Along with like, it wasn't even just the games or the people that were playing in the game, but you learn at the end how these games were created, the origin and all that kind of stuff. And then you learn about the VIPs, which are the elite, the rich folk who watch these games for their own
and gamble,
fucked up entertainment. It's like they're betting on, it's like betting on horse racing or whatever. They're betting on these people for their entertainment. And these are, the rich people. So I was reading something not too long ago where it said that it was through like the Oxfam International. It's like this really big organization that talks about like wealth inequality and all that kind of stuff. They were saying that there's like a little over 2,000 billionaires in the world, but those 2,000 billionaires have more money than the like at least 5 billion, 6 billion people, like at least over like 60% of the population in the world. Like they have more money than billions and billions of people. And these are just terrible. 2,000 people that have more money than, they have more wealth than most of the world. Like, how do you even How do you? I don't know. It just I
can't even picture $1 billion. To be honest, I'm just like, I don't know what that looks like.
Right. And a lot of people can't because like, who the fuck has that much money? But people, but
people like, do.
Yeah, and they hold so much power over those that don't have the money, over people in poverty, people who, they're struggling, and it just you can in this show you can see that they're just using them as kind of like puppets, and they can control their fate. And one instance that really stood out to me was when in the Stepping Stones, the glass game, where there was one guy who worked with glass for a long time, could tell the difference between the two based on how they looked and sounded or something like that. But the people controlling or the people watching caught on that, okay, he knew what's happening. So we have to make this quote unquote fair. So what they did was the front man shut down the lights. So now the guy couldn't tell which one was which, and they were screwed all over again. So it's like these people in power hold power over your life, and in a way to determine your fate. And it's just messed up, man. It's messed up.
It was so messed up.
But again, I think that's why this show is just so popular right now, and everybody's talking about it.
Capitalism.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, Mish, which death impacted you the most?
Which death? Either Ali's death, right? Or the girl who died so Sabio can go on.
Yeah, that's the one that got me. Although we didn't actually see Ali die.
No, we didn't.
There's a theory out there that maybe he's still alive. Although I don't really believe.
No, but we did see him in the coffin though.
We saw his body.
We saw him at the end.
I don't remember.
Like in the beginning of the 7th episode, he was in the coffin.
Okay.
I think
so maybe he is. Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I remember.
Which character stood out to you the most?
Which character? Obvious, all of them. I think all of them just had their own. Yeah, they were going through like the struggle of like trying to get this money, but they all had different reasons to being there.
Yeah.
I definitely liked the cop, like his story.
Oh yeah.
Not the fact that he was a cop, but like his story in terms of like trying to find his brother and like going undercover as one of the workers and just seeing how the workers lived and like the rules they had to follow and like how some of them were trying to get money off of the people who died by selling like their organs and all this other stuff. So I liked that part of the story because then you got to see a different side of the games. So I liked his character, but I also really liked I guess if I were to pick, it'd be that one or the old man Ilhan. Ilnam. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was intrigued by him too. I was very intrigued by the front man. So the front man is the guy that wears the black mask and was in like all black. He's the one that oversees and kind of ran all of the procedures and operations and games and stuff. He was kind of the leader. And I just wanted to know his story, like who he was, why was he doing all of this? And hopefully, if there is a season 2, I would love to learn more about him. But you later learn that he is the brother that the cop that you're talking about was looking for.
And he shot his brother.
Yes. But I just was like, who the fuck are you? For a little while, I was like, are you the recruiter? The guy that was recruiting.
Really? I thought it was his brother. I was like, it must be his fucking brother. Like, I bet you it's his brother.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of seemed a little bit like they were like some of the things you could tell that they were setting it up. That was one that I could tell they were setting up because I like it's gonna be a good dramatic like revelation. Like I just know, but I didn't think he was gonna shoot him. I was like, I don't know. I didn't think he was gonna shoot his brother, but I guess
he did.
I don't know.
Anyway, I was intrigued by him. But yeah, the old guy Ilnam, we later learn also that he was the main guy behind all of it.
Yeah, that's the twist. I did not see that one coming.
Big twist.
I did not, but Jesus said he did, because he was saying when we started watching the games, you could see that he was really happy in red light, green light, and Jesus just thought that was really weird. He was like, "Why is he like?" He was so confused by it, and then I was like, "I don't know. He just wants to win the money."
Yeah.
And he thinks he could win. But I guess thinking back, like you could tell how he was acting was because he was like the owner, or what was he, the owner, or like the creator of the game?
Yeah, he created the games. So and you're gonna learn later. I mean, if you haven't watched it, you learn at the end why he created the games and all that kind of stuff. But it's just messed up. All right, let's do some theories. Obviously, like we said earlier, there's a shit ton of theories out there. You can go ahead and do your research, go on YouTube, read things. There's a lot of theories.
Read things.
Go read things and listen to things. Yes. But we're going to talk about two really popular ones that really stood out to me, because I'm like, that's so obvious and I didn't catch that. Like, there's a lot of things that I just didn't pick up on. But anyway, let's talk about the first one, which is the red blue papers. So do you want to explain that? You want to explain what the red blue paper thing is?
Yeah, I can try to explain. So when what's his name? Oh fuck, I'm so bad at their names. Jihan, when he was trying to he was desperate for money. A recruiter came up to him and was like, showed him two folded pieces of paper, like into squares, I believe. One of them was red and one of them was blue, and he said, pick a color and flip it, and if you can flip it, I will give you money. I forgot how much money, but if I
think it was 100,000 won each time.
Yeah, but if you don't flip it, then I get to hit you or like smack you. So he chose the color blue. And so what the theory is that people think that depending on the color that you choose is where you're placed in the game, right? So if you choose the blue, then you wake up and have the color of the player, right? And then if you pick the red one, then you would the theory is that you would be one of the people working the game. So one of the people in the red suits with the circle face, because they take orders from the people with the triangle, and then the people in the triangle take orders from the people with the square face, and then there's the head guy.
Yep.
So that's one of the theories. And people think that maybe if he would have chosen the red one, he would have woken up as one of the people who run the game instead of like a player.
So do you think how much do you believe that theory?
I don't know. I believe it. It makes sense to me.
So
it's a good theory.
So the workers are also people in a lot of debt, maybe?
I would assume so, yeah, because it seemed like they were also trapped. Like they had to stay in their cells. They couldn't talk to anybody. There were specific rules. You couldn't, like, you know what I mean? So I think that, I don't know how their orientation went.
Right.
But it just seemed like they were also part of it, like they were prisoners in a sense, in their own way.
Right.
Because if they didn't follow orders, or if they showed their faces to the players, then they would get killed.
They would also die. Yeah. If you were to be recruited, Mish, which color would you pick in the game? Which color would you have picked if they offered you the red or the blue?
I like red. My favorite color is red, so I would have chosen red.
Oh my gosh, I would have chosen blue. Oh,
really? No. Why?
Because I like blue.
Oh, okay. I like red.
Oh, so I would have become a player.
I don't know. We don't know. We don't know if the theory is real, but if
the theory is real, I would have become a player and you would have become a worker. Oh my god. Yeah. Then I'd be like, Mish, what's the next game? Tell me.
You wouldn't know it's me. I have a mask.
No, we'd find a way to communicate. Because you would know it's me because my face is not covered.
Oh, yes.
So true. I would hope that you'd find a way to reach out to me and help me out.
Yeah, true.
I would hope, at least.
Yeah, I would. I got your back.
Okay, cool. All right. Next theory, and the last one we're going to talk about for this episode. And if you want us to go deeper into Squid Game, we certainly can. But for sake of time and everything, we might have to make another episode about this.
Yeah.
There's this really big theory, along with the red blue paper one, that Jihan is Ilnam's son. And after watching videos and like reflecting back on what I saw in the show, it made sense.
Yeah, same.
So there's some cues, some clues, some hints that are sprinkled throughout the series. It's a 9-episode series. For example, one where Jihan is they're being fed, right? They're given food and they're offered milk, regular milk, and like a baked good or something, some type of bread or something. And Jihan says he requests chocolate milk because he's lactose intolerant. And then he was talking to Ilnam, the old man, saying how his dad used to beat him or something for not drinking milk or something like that, right? And then Ilnam also related in the sense that he said that he also would beat his son because he didn't drink milk. He didn't want to drink the milk. And I didn't catch that. I did not catch that.
I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. But there was a few other instances where Ilnam, I think, said that his son's birthday was coming up, and Jihan's birthday was also coming up.
Yeah.
Ilnam was number 1, so every player is given a number. Ilnam was number 1, and Jihan was the last one, 456. Which, so they were complete ends, right? One is like he was the oldest, and then Jihan, I don't think it was the youngest, but it was kind of like a distinction of opposites. It was kind of like to say they're opposites, like father and son. I don't know if that even makes sense what I was saying, but and I think there was a few others. Yeah,
there was another one where they were playing the marble game, and
that's a big one.
Ilnam was saying, oh, like this is very similar to where I used to live, and I would watch my son play with his friends. And then he was like, oh, Jihan, right?
Yeah,
was saying how that place also looked familiar to him where he used to play as a child, that he remembers. So just tying it back to, maybe he is his father and they used to live together, and the village where they lived was basically like that. And the fact that Ilnam was the creator of this game, he would create it as like, a place he was familiar with.
There's also one more that I just thought of is so Ilnam, his name is O Ilnam, like O Ilnam, and I think that's the last name that they say first before the first name. And then there's a scene in the beginning of the show where Jihan has his mom's credit card. It's a yellow card, and it has her name on it, and it starts with O-H. So they might have had the same last name, also connecting their relationship, his mom and Ilnam's Ilnam's relationship, which I learned about recently, that being also a clue that they're related. So I don't know. I believe it. I think he is his son, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for season 2 if it's coming out. Hopefully they make it soon so we can watch it. I will be watching. But I did want to ask you, I know we talked about I don't know. I think one of the biggest themes and the biggest one that came out of the show was that humanity and morality is still alive in humans. And I would love to think that that is true. I would love to think that people care about other people and would want the betterment of society and in general like that. But I think this show definitely made me question that. And I think, I don't know, especially in the fact that like, not mostly more on the sense of the players, but mostly in the sense of like these people who have money and have the capacity to control us in a sense with their money and with their power. So I thought for me, the scariest thing was, like you said, the parallels of how we see society and culture today and how it's basically run by capitalism and these big corporations, and also these billionaires and people who have ownership in certain things, especially like, I don't know, I'm just tying it to different things, but it just made me think really hard about like morality and humanity, how you were saying before. But what do you think? Like, do you think what do you think about humanity and morality overall and how it was portrayed on this show? And do you believe in it? Do you think people should believe in it? Like, what do you think?
That's a hard question.
I know.
I think this show really showed how desperation can outweigh morality. Because of like people. So like a big example of that I noticed was when they all chose to leave, but then they chose to come back, knowing what would happen. This happened after the first game, after over 100 people got killed in front of their eyes, and they chose to leave the game, but then they went back to their lives where they had nothing. They have no money, no resources, there's no way up. There's no way. Well, at least in maybe there was a way out. I don't know, but I think they reached a point of desperation and they decided to go back. And I think that outweighed their morality because they knew what was going to happen.
But is it like their like you're saying their morality is based off the fact that if they live or die, right?
And knowing that others are going to die at their, like, not everybody's going to win. I don't know. I didn't know that it was going to be one winner, but they knew that there was going to be games where like you have to win and others have to lose. There's no tying, and people are going to die, right? But that's where I'm coming from. I think people have morality and humanity to an extent. I think once you reach a point where it's like my life or yours, people are going to say, well, my life, So I think
at that point it's
I like to hope and think that people do have a sense of humanity.
I think this is a deep ass question.
It's also the system that we're in.
Yeah, because
we live in.
Yeah, and I feel like people can have different definitions of humanity and morality.
Yep.
If we're like trying to dig deeper into these themes or thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that is a hard question, and I want to say yes, but I don't feel like that would be genuine if I said yes. That everybody has a sense of human. I mean, I guess it depends on the definition, but
I don't know.
There
know.
are some people that do really bad things, and
I agree.
I
think there's a lot of people I know. I just think for me, it's not more of a sense of humanity, which I guess maybe it could be, but it's more like, do you think individualistically or like in a community, in a communal sense when it comes to like real life? You know what I mean? Because I feel like all these people were thinking individualistically, obviously, but I think parallel to that show and to us here, I don't know. I think it just depends on whether you think individually or in a communal sense in terms of like humanity, or collectively in terms of humanity and morality and like betterment of society and all these things. I think it boils down to one of those, not the fact that either you have humanity or morality, because you can have either one depending on, like, you know what I mean? Am I making any sense?
So you're saying it depends on if you're thinking individualistically, if you're thinking about yourself versus if you're thinking about the greater good of everybody.
Yeah, not the greater good of everybody. I think that's way too much pressure to put on somebody. Like, you can't always just make decisions for the greater good of everybody, but you can make decisions for like communally, for people close to you or people around you, or like people who you consider part of a community, but would it be like the greater good of the world? Like, I think that's way too like, there's no possible way that someone can make decisions for the greater good of the entire world, because not everything will be the same for everyone. You know what I mean?
And is it possible to make decisions for the greater good of your community?
Greater good for I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Depends on what you define as community, and depends on who is in that. And if you all agree as a community, then I think you can make decisions for the greater good as a community together.
As a community together, right?
Yeah, not individualistically. That's what I mean.
I agree. I was just asking questions to like pick your brain, because I don't have an answer. I honestly don't have an answer.
I don't either, but I think I don't either. I don't have an answer either, but in my head, not just pertaining to the game, but pertaining to like real life and how we live. I think people can have, you said, different balance, like levels of humanity or morality, but I definitely think that you can have those, and those are theories, but in real life and how it's played out, it's your actions and like how you think, whether it is individually or in a communal sense. And that's just like my way of like combining the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. But I think ultimately, it boils down to you as an individual. Like, let's say you do collectively try to move forward together and do what's best for your community, but then something happens and there's limited resources and there's not enough food and there's not enough whatever, and then what? And then it's just an example, but like then people will, I think a lot of people will do what's best for themselves ultimately, even if it's within your community and people you care about.
Dang, so you don't believe in humanity?
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know.
That's what you're saying. I'm just like, wow,
like,
okay.
Because I don't know. I think a lot of people would do that. Would ultimately,
I feel like they would, but I would hope that they wouldn't. That's just my
and that's my hope. That's my hope.
Yeah.
And then what would you do if that's you in that situation? Like, I don't even know what I would do. I would hope that I'd like sacrifice for other people.
I don't think sacrificing is the word. I think just because you take care of other people doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself.
No, I'm talking about if it boils down to that situation where it's like either you eat or I eat.
Why don't we both eat? Like, I don't have that. Like, I don't know. I think there's always a way to, I don't know.
Okay. No, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe in this game, yes. Like,
I guess I'm still
either
thinking
you die
or
I die.
Game.
Yeah, I can see it in that sense, but if we're not contained in that certain space, I don't think that, I think some people would revert to that mentality where like it's either you or me,
right?
But I feel like there can always be a way where it can be like us. Unless you're being contained, unless you're being controlled, like in that scenario, then that would make sense. But if it's not in that scenario and it's just more like survival and like say an apocalypse happens and like we run out of food or all this other shit, right? Obviously we don't have control of it, but we can, I think we're stronger together. Versus like, oh, like there's like a can of beans, either you or me, and I, or you or I eat. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just think that yes, certain people think that way, but I would hope people don't, because I think that like,
but I think there's gonna be people that do and people that don't.
I mean, obviously,
there's always gonna be
obviously, yeah.
I don't have an answer, Mish. I'm sorry.
No, you do have an answer. You just answered.
What was my answer? I don't even know.
Your answer was basically people are gonna revert to being individualistic, but we would hope that they wouldn't.
I hope we wouldn't.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't know.
I'm excited for
hopefully not. Hopefully we will not see. Hopefully this is never an occurrence for anybody. But
hopefully not. This is just a what if, and these are deep questions that I don't know. I like thinking about this stuff because it just puts life and things into perspective, and you learn how other people feel about it, and then you learn about yourself. How do you define morality and humanity, and how do you see it in yourself? Do you see it in yourself?
Yeah, we need to have a deeper conversation into this, because I feel like we really didn't touch on our opinions of it, or like what we think, or maybe we did a little bit, but we were confused.
I think I was confined in my thinking because I was looking at it from a point of view of the game, of the show.
Yeah, same. But I was trying to think of it how it would play out in
real life.
Yeah. But I don't know. But I said, go ahead.
I was gonna say we should dig deeper into this. In another episode. That'd be cool. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say how like, I think for some people, like life is the survival, like people do have to survive depending on like the resources and money that you have. So I feel like for some people, you do kind of have to think individualistically sometimes, but others, you can see how like communities survive and also like thrive, I guess, working together. You know what I mean? So I was just trying to make the comparison.
And maybe that's the answer, is that it depends, and there's different ways to see it. Wow. See what this show does? This show makes you think.
For real. You should watch it.
Yeah, I do recommend it. I recommend it. Just to end it, Mish, how would you rate it out of 5 stars?
I don't know. I want to give it a 5, but then I feel like that's too basic. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Okay, yeah, I was going to do like a 4.7, 4.8.
4.5, yeah.
Because it's really, really, really
good. It's really good.
I really enjoyed it. And I hope there is a season 2 at some point. But I know they took this director, like the guy who directed it also wrote it and produced it or did like all these things. And he was writing it for like 10 years or something. And so it's a lot of work. I can imagine how much work it is to put something like this together. So, but yeah, hopefully there's a season 2. Let us know what y'all think. If y'all have seen it, let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think of Michelle's question about.
What was my question? I feel like my question was messy AF.
Like, do you think people have humanity, right?
Or morality?
Or morality? How would you define it? And then do you think people have it?
I definitely think people have it. I just think that people act on it differently.
And I think people see it. I think you're right. I think there are different definitions for it. I didn't really realize that. But when you said that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, let us know. Thank you for joining us today on this episode yet again. We always say this: comment, like, do whatever, interact with us, share the episode.
It's so intense. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna like it. At least everyone that I've talked to really likes it. Hopefully you like it. And if you have watched it, let us know if you liked it and what you thought of our episode. If you think we missed any theories or just what you thought overall, would be nice to hear.
And we definitely missed theories because we only talked about 2. But if there's any that like
we had more,
we
had more theories, but we just are trying to keep these episodes shorter than an hour. So yeah.
We're doing our best. We could do better.
Yeah. we just start talking about things and get so excited.
I know, we get so into it. So let us know. But we thank y'all for joining us.
Last question. Last question for you, just because I wanted to know.
Okay.
What game or up to what game do you think you would have survived? Like, what game do you think you were like, I can't, I'm gonna hypothetically, I would die in this game, or how far do you think you would get?
I think I would get far in the red light, green light. I can see that. I think I'd be good with that.
I think it'd be good.
I'd be fine. The second one was
besides the people getting shot at next to you.
Right. The second one was the
Honeycomb Game.
Honeycomb. So that one, it depends on the shape I get. I feel like if I would have chosen the umbrella, I would have been screwed. Yeah. But let's say like the triangle, easy, I could do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that one, it depends. I think I would have been screwed with I think with tug of war there's more to it because you're with other people. And the stepping, I don't know, I just don't think I'd make it very far overall in the whole series. I don't think I'd make it very far, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I would I don't know. I think it would depend on red light, green light. I think it would be fine. Honeycomb Game, I think it would be fine.
With any shape?
Not with any shape. If I got the umbrella, I would definitely die. But
what about the star?
The star, I could definitely pull off a star. I used to do, when I was younger, I used to do like a lot of, my older sister used to do origami, and she would have to like cut like specific paper and like, and then so I used to do that too. Obviously it's not the same thing as paper, but like I would in order to be able to rip some of the paper, I would like lick it and be able to like cut it straight, because I don't know why, maybe we didn't own scissors, or I just was too lazy to find scissors, so I would just like rip it as best as I could with certain paper. So I think I could do the star. I don't know. Maybe
with those
not.
Games, you're under a lot of pressure knowing that if you don't make it, you're gonna die. But do you think in that moment, even under pressure, you would have remembered that? Like, oh, my sister did origami and I licked.
I have no idea.
Like, because
I licked it.
Under pressure, I feel like I just blank.
I think I would lose on the circle, if I'm gonna be honest. The circle seems really hard. I would if I feel like the square is pretty. I mean, the square and triangle pretty easy because there's like lines and like places where you can like kind of like chip off.
Was there
with
a
the
square
circle,
one?
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. No, probably not square, right?
I think there
was circle, triangle, umbrella,
and star.
So it was only 4. No, I don't think there was a square. But I think if I would have gotten umbrella or the circle, I probably would have lost. So that, and then tug of war just depends on whoever you're with.
Right.
I think I would have lost. I don't know who would pick me to be on their team. I never really got picked for like sport games.
Oh, niche.
So I probably would have died before then. Yeah. And then marbles, I suck at marbles. I don't know. Yeah, I think I would have lost early on too. Damn, that's why I would have left. I would have not like gone back. I would have been like, cool. Red light, green light, I'm good.
Yeah. That was fun. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm going home. Yeah.
Dang. So neither of us would win the 45 billion won. Qué triste. No. Qué triste.
Woo.
Oh well.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That was it for today.
That was it.
I feel like our conversations get heavy, Mish. Like they've been heavy the past few. Because last time we talked about death and sleep paralysis. Oh, and now we're talking about morality and killing other people.
I know. Well, I mean,
it's heavy stuff.
It'll get light the next few, so don't worry.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I just an observation that we've been getting deep into these conversations.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. I don't think a lot of people do talk about this kind of stuff, and because it can be hard to talk about and to even conceptualize. Well, I had a hard time answering your question because I didn't know. I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know what to, I
don't think there's a right or wrong answer when it comes to like these big things that we're talking about. Just whatever you think. And obviously like these are just things that we come up with at the spot, and maybe they may change in the future what we think well, like once we get older. So I think it's pretty interesting just to talk about, to see like what we think, and maybe people agree, maybe people don't agree, and that's totally fine. But yeah, that was a fun conversation. I like talking about that. I always like talking about deep stuff and seeing what people think, and I'm like, oh, that's what you think individualistically. You would kill me? Okay, I got it.
Okay, I did not say I would kill you, Mish. Okay, I would not kill you. Okay, if it was you and me with the marbles, what would you do, huh?
You would leave me. You would leave. Okay. I feel okay. Can we just tell people why I think you wouldn't like actively hurt me? I know that.
Yeah.
I don't like. I would never picture that scenario, but I do remember one time.
Oh my God!
You told me.
Here we go again.
You had a dream.
You always
remember your dream.
Up. Okay, yes.
Because you left me in your dream. Okay, this wasn't actually really real life. Sorry, I'm like screaming into the mic.
I told her this one dream that I had, and she just you just did not let that go.
Because I feel like that's what you would do in real life. If shit goes down, you would just run.
Oh my God.
Like, because that is not because you were actively thinking of like, oh my gosh, whatever. I just think that's just how your body would respond.
My
like,
instinct.
Get me out of here. Your instinct would be just to
survival
get out.
Mode. Yeah.
Yeah, survival mode. I don't think you like maliciously are like, let me leave Michelle so she can die type of thing. But I just think like instinctively in your dream when that happened, you just dipped.
Okay, let me explain what happened in this damn dream. Okay, so Michelle, this is all I know. There were other people there, but
this is all I know.
I don't recognize
this was a dream, y'all. Okay,
this is
clarification.
All I remember.
A dream.
This is a dream. People
Beans' dream, not my dream. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is my dream. Okay, so it was Michelle and I and a group of people in a house. I think it was like a house party or something was happening, but there was people in a house. It was dark. I don't even know whose house it was. I don't remember seeing other like whose face, like the faces. So I just remembered it was Michelle and I and a group of people, and then shit went down. I think there were people like either shooting at the house or trying to get in the house. There were intruders or something, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. And I and I sneak out the window, and I realized later on that I wasn't with Michelle. And later on after I escaped, I was like, oh wait, where's Michelle? And but I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if they got you. I don't know if
they probably got me.
I mean, maybe you escaped. Maybe you left before I did. Who knows?
Okay. Okay.
But
let's go with that. I escaped.
What all Michelle heard when I was explaining this was that I left her. That's all she took from that story. Okay, y'all.
Let me know if you hear anything else.
Yeah. That's all she heard is you left me. So yeah, that's why she thinks that. But
yeah,
that was a dream, Mish. I don't know what it
dream.
means. I don't know. That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago that I had that dream.
It's okay. I just always like bringing it up. It's always funny.
Yeah. It's so funny. So funny. But I don't know. Maybe instinctively, I don't know what I would do, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we never know. We don't know. Cool. That was it. That was our episode. Let us know what you thought of this episode. I thought that was a funny story.
Yeah, let us know if I actually left Michelle in my dream, and let us know what you think of Squid Game if you've seen it, and let us know of any theories, and also let us know of what you think about humanity in general.
Yeah, that would be great.
We'd love to know. Okay, y'all, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you at the next one.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.